Feeling like life is overwhelming? Are you ready to break free and learn what it feels like to be unstoppable? Then you're in the right spot. Welcome to We Are Not Lost, the podcast focused on helping women find their true selves, learn to live more authentically, and stop feeling burned out. Here's your host, Satvinder Kaur.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the We Are Not Lost podcast with your host, Sat. And today's, I have another amazing guest with me. Her name's Christie Harris. And Christie Harris is a demand planning senior manager at Freeman Company. And she has spent the majority of her 20-year career in retail planning. 4 years ago, she was inspired by coworkers to begin a journey of health and fitness that led her to lose nearly 100 pounds. In the process, she has discovered a passion for running and for motivating others in their own journey. Wow, what a beautiful intro. Like, you really found your passion in there. Yeah. Welcome, Christie. Welcome to our today's episode.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I'm so excited for our today's conversation. Today's topic is around physical wellness discovery. Mm-hmm. So in this series, we were talking about like the root thing, self-awareness, why the self-awareness is so critical for success in all areas of our life, right? Mm-hmm. And I have divided into 4 different things, like, emotional discovery, our self-love discovery, and physical wellness discovery, purpose and mission discovery. So today's topic, we're just going to talk about how the physical wellness is a critical aspects of the self-discovery. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes we don't listen to our body. If we are not connected with ourselves, we don't listen to our body, and then we miss out a lot of things, right? And it's so critical to know our body, or what body is trying to tell us. So I feel like the physical wellness is the prerequisite for the self-discovery, and its ability to listen to your body and learn to unleash your best self through committing to a physical vitality and health. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know you personally. I know in one setting we work in same place, but I was inspired by you because I heard from someone you are on that journey. And I kind of started my transformation journey toward health that time too. I never get to talk to you, but I was hearing a lot of good stuff. Oh, she's doing this. And I have seen you personally a lot of time, all the time during breaks. You were on a mission, you were doing workout.
Thank you.
Tell me about your journey, how you started, and I know you're a completely different person today.
Yeah. Well, I guess thinking about how everything came to be, I spent the majority of my life overweight and honestly obese, right? And growing up, that was not the case. I was 120 pounds, size 7, and I wasn't very athletic in high school, but I played tennis. I had a job that kept me on my feet. So I was pretty active, which kept my weight low despite my tendency to eat a lot of junk food, right?
Oh, yeah.
But then in my adult life, though, my journey with health and my weight has really been kind of a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs over the years. So thinking about going to college, when college came around, as that happened, so did the freshman 15, which turned into the sophomore 20. And before I knew it, I was in my 20s and 200 pounds, which I'm only 5'2". So for me, that's a lot. And I was eating too much, drinking too much, sitting on my butt too much, and just not getting that activity, not being healthy. And finally, in my mid-20s was the first time that I decided I wanted to lose weight. And my motivation at that time was pretty straightforward. I wanted to look better. I wanted to feel better. And I remember the moment when I decided I wanted to. I was walking into work, coming up to the glass doors in front of me, and I caught a glimpse of my reflection, and I stopped and I thought, how did I get to this point, right? So that was the moment that I first decided, okay, I want to do something about this, right? But I didn't really know how to lose weight, and I just went about it the complete wrong way, basically. I cut my calorie count down to nothing. I was literally eating about 800 calories a day. I was exercising like a fiend. And while it was effective, it was just the worst way I could have gone about doing that. So I lost 85 pounds in 6 months, and along with that, I had a lot of negative side effects, like my hair started falling out. I would be in the shower washing my hair, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of scary, actually. And then additionally, I had lost all this weight, and now when it came to maintenance, I didn't know what to do. I had followed this extreme plan that I had come up with, but now what do I do? And I was kind of lost there. So over the next year or two, it all came back on and then some, because I never really gained a healthy relationship with food, I guess, and I didn't have those coping mechanisms to deal with stress. For me, I had always turned to food.
I think that's very common.
Yes. And, there are so many better things you can do, whether it's calling a friend or working out or accomplishing some sort of project, something like that. But my thing, at that time, it was food. So it was kind of like, oh, you had a bad day, let's get takeout and wine. And it became a habit. And then it just kind of went from there.
So easy to go in that route, yeah.
Exactly. So fast forwarding to 2018, right? I was at the highest weight of my life. I was now at 238 pounds. And so this time around, not only am I unhappy with the way I look, but also how I feel, similar to before, but in addition to being sluggish and low energy, I was at the point where I was starting to have back pain, knee pain, and it was kind of one thing after another. I was tired of my clothes being tight, and I developed kind of this panic issue also that I'd never had before, from sitting in small spaces like an airplane seat, or even like I remember this underwater adventure thing we had done at a theme park where they put a helmet over your head, and I was like, and I'd never had that before, and I knew it felt from,
yes,
being,
exactly. Why is happening now?
Exactly. And like, for example, another thing, I realized that I was not able to live my life and experience the things I wanted to. So one example, I remember I was in Australia, Great Barrier Reef, once in a lifetime opportunity to do some amazing snorkeling. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the advanced snorkeling trip because I want to see it all. But I get out there and I can't keep up. I'm tired and I start falling behind. I start panicking and I'm like, this is not the experience I wanted. And it took an hour after getting back on the ship for me to be like, to feel okay again. And I said, this is keeping me from doing things.
What you really love to do.
Exactly. So for me, that was a real eye-opener that I'm just not living life the way I should be.
No, this is such a, and after I think you really brought it up the great point, I think, is the motivation behind how you, like when you first time thought you want to lose the weight. I think it was just, you want to just look good or feel good. So, and that motivation, still it led you to the actions, you did it, but it was not sustainable because your why was not strong enough.
Yes.
And I think that's the very, very critical part of it. Like, the why is when people say, I want to lose weight, I don't think that's just a motivation going to work it. We always have a why behind it. So, and as you mentioned, so I think your why changed when you went to the Australia trip. Mm-hmm. And now that why was different because you want to enjoy the things you love to do, and that trip could have been different if you have the energy.
Exactly.
So I think that was so I think that's we all need to really find out about our why part first. Like, I think I have a similar thing too. I went to Colorado.
Yeah.
With my kids, and we were doing the hiking, and we went very on the top. And even though my whole family, they were being very patient with me, and I was the last one, I had a stick in my hand. And same way, actually, I have some similar experience as you were mentioning. I had the phobia of like even taking my clothes on and off. I felt like I was getting panic. And with I just start feeling my blood pressure was shooting up. I was on those meds. But that was my why. I went on Colorado's trip and I realized, I said, I don't have the energy I should have. And how can I enjoy these trips with my family? So I think that motive kind of led my journey to my transformation. So I think, so that's, I love your story. Like, I think that's kind of led, I think the why behind what we want to do is the most like crucial part of it. So how you were like, and what was your, like, you want to elaborate more on your why, or that's kind of, and how you were successfully able to get into where you at?
Sure. So, yeah, I think we understand my why now for the how. So at that time in 2018, I was working for a company that was more health focused. And actually, our CEO had lost 20 pounds on a particular diet program, which prompted several other people in the company to want to do the same. So one day my boss came up to me and she was like, hey, do you want to do this program with me? And I had been thinking about it for a little bit. I knew I was unhappy with my weight. I had lost a few pounds on my own, but again, she wasn't really sure how to go about it. And so she asked me to do this program with her, and I thought, well, okay, why not? And in the past, I had not wanted to do a diet program because I felt there was kind of a stigma associated with it. Like, I don't want to be the person who has to do a diet program to lose weight, which I realize now is kind of a dumb, like overly prideful mentality. But you know, here I was, and several of my coworkers were motivated to try it. So here's my opportunity, right?
Yes, definitely.
And it actually ended up working really well for me. It was a very good fit. And the first week I lost 8 pounds, and I thought, wow, hey, maybe this could be something. And then every week after that, it was 3 pounds consistently. And as I started seeing those little wins, it got me more and more excited to continue with it. And yeah, so I was sold like after the first
It's like progress equals happiness, right?
Exactly, yeah. And just realizing that you can accomplish this and getting even those tiny wins consistently can really really made me stick to.
It gave you the momentum, keep going, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I started setting goals and was really feeling fantastic about what I was doing and proud of it, really. And at a certain point, I started focusing more on additionally on the fitness side of it as well. I had been taking classes at Orange Theory casually, like one time a week for the last few years. And I started thinking, okay, this is something that I could get serious about, right? So when I first started at Orange Theory, I could barely even walk 3 miles an hour, but I just kept at it and gradually, every few weeks started adding a little bit more speed and started getting faster and faster. And it felt good seeing that progress, like from power walker to jogger to runner.
I love that feeling.
Right? You're like, hey, I wasn't able to do this 2 months ago. And now look. But more importantly, I started realizing that I had a community, right? It was the same people taking the same classes at the same time. So I started making friends, and we commiserated about the really tough classes. We celebrated our milestones, our successes, our birthdays, all of that kind of thing. And it became like a family. And I think that is part of what really drew me in and got me excited about working out and fitness when you've got people
around
that you look forward to seeing and like-minded people. Right?
It's like accountability, and you're building your own community, right?
Right, exactly. Now, one of these friends one day invited me to go running with her, at the park. And I thought about it. I was nervous, but I said, okay, I'll go ahead. She's going to be way faster than me, but I'm just going to go and do it and have fun, right? And she invited me that day to run a half marathon with her that was coming up in 6 weeks. And I thought to myself, was like, there is no way. 13 miles. And at that point, the farthest I'd ever run, it was 7 miles one time. And she's like, you know what? You can totally do it. Let's try. And I thought, well, I said, worst case, I can walk. And I'll just sign up and see what happens. And long story short, it went better than I expected. I had a lot of fun, beat my goal by 10 minutes. And that kind of set things
Give you
in
more
motion.
confidence and
Confidence and more accomplishment and just believing that I could do something. Right? So that ended up being my first of a lot of races. I just finished my 21st half marathon with the Cowtown in Fort Worth a couple weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just the running itself that I love, but like I mentioned, the community. So exactly. So I run with, there's some amazing people at Irving Running Club or even my Orange Theory friends who enjoy that too. And really the camaraderie and, pushing each other and having fun doing it.
Exactly. No, I love your story. I mean, I think I can resonate with a lot because when I started with same kind of my why, and then I went a similar path. I went for some strict dieting plan that helped me to get into the discipline and knowing myself. And then I also started working out in Orange Theory and all of that. And as you said, I can resonate to the experience when you say I was a, power walker.
Yes.
And I never thought I could run and I can ever jog. And I used to hold the treadmill with my both hands. And our coach always used to ask me, you need to get off. You cannot hold the treadmill like that. And I'm like, no, I cannot do it. And I thought I cannot do it. But within a matter of 1 or 2 months, I end up running on it. And exactly as you explained it, I'm like, really? I'm power walker to a jogger? It really built my confidence. And that's more important when you see your progress that give you. And I think when you lost, it's a big milestone. You hit 100 pounds, you lost it, but it was just not about the numbers. You were able to create a community around you and like-minded people. And have you ever, what was your biggest challenge while you were going on this journey? I know we all, that's reality, right? We all go through for me too, when I'm stressful, it's hard for me to stick. Sometimes I go to my favorite things like food. So how were you able to find something different way to rather than going to those stuff?
I still do struggle with using food as a crutch somewhat. So I've actually, since I lost the weight, so basically it took me about 10 months.
10 months?
To lose the 100 pounds.
Wow.
But this time, following the program, and I had more support, from my coach with the diet program, my Orange Theory, this community, and all of that. But I still struggle and have still had minor ups and downs, like holidays, for example.
My goodness.
It's funny because every year I say, I'm not susceptible to that, but every year at the end of December, I'm like, oh, okay. But I have done a better job with finding those other outlets for stress. And so not only things accomplishing projects or it's finding something to distract you, going out for a walk.
Distracting, yes.
That kind of thing, because it's really not the food. It's not that you're hungry.
It's not that you're hungry.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
So I think it's easy to access, right? It's a habits. I think it's a habits.
Exactly.
So I think even in our wellness journey, I think these habits, our triggers, our beliefs, they play a big role.
Mm-hmm.
First, I always thought I cannot lose weight because that's how my family is or whatever. I gave a meaning to it. Mm-hmm. No, I don't think. I think after a certain age, you cannot lose a weight. That's how my genes are. That's how I had the limiting belief. But then I went on this kind of self-discovery process where I learned a lot about myself, some personal development courses. Then I realized okay, no, this is my limiting belief. I can make this limiting belief to empowering belief. So, and I changed my mind. And after that, I was able to do so well. So I think we do have a lot of limitations in our mind.
Yes.
Like, I'm too short, I'm too big, and all that. But I think first condition is in the wellness thing, like first we need to love ourselves. These all things go together, accept the way you are, and then work with it. Like how you want to, how you want to impress yourself, not about for someone else.
Yes, and I completely agree with that. I would say the biggest thing I gained out of the entire process was confidence.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Confidence. And not just because I was comfortable with the way I looked and felt, but I'd had these, certain accomplishments, like with the fitness and the races, and I'd had that to kind of build me up and show myself, hey, you really can do these things, right? And I finally felt like I could truly be myself and be proud of myself. And it might sound silly, but I never realized how much I liked people. Like before I started this journey. I mean, not in a negative way, but I became more outgoing, more interested in people and their journeys, and other people would kind of return back to you. Yes. And asking for tips or sharing their stories with me, and they were intimidated to go to the gym, and how do I get over that?
You start contributing like more to
exactly. So that was great, and I love discussing similar interests, and it kind of became freeing too.
I know,
because I learned to let go of being self-conscious and being open to experiences and experiencing life and everything it has to offer, and not kind of stopping myself, well, this is not something I've done before, I'm uncomfortable with it. And I just kind of learned to go with things and see what happens. So that has been a really neat thing over the last year in particular.
No, yes, it's just not about, again, losing the weight and numbers. It's like completely change the way we are as a person, like the way we show up on our work, and it's affect all areas of life. I think it's the first, those are like, just like embrace yourself first, like love yourself, and then knowing your strength and what you want to become, and then it's really, then only it's like sustainable. Like for me, even right now, I feel like, I have lost 40 pounds. And I'm so proud of that.
Yeah.
And it felt good. I'm off of all my meds.
Yes.
And that was the biggest thing. That's for that reason, I'm like, I have to keep it this way.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I didn't even think of that in the conversation. But I'd been on blood pressure medication since the beginning of college. And in 1819, and I was finally able to go off of those medications in the last couple of years, and that's pretty...
Yeah, and like, that's a pretty good, like, rewarding thing. Yeah. This is more than, like, it's a good motivation. And other thing was, I realized I really worked, and when I was like, I'm about to lose weight, I worked on my habits. Like 3 months, I just put it on the calendar, on the board. I say, I want to wake up 4 a.m. Even that has no significance. Like, okay, not everyone has to wake up 4 a.m. But I just made few changes to say myself, I need to change my habits. I used to work like 4 a.m. and then I'll like do it 30 minutes just on the YouTube. It was that timing when we just in the pandemic.
Okay,
we couldn't even go for a walk. It was very strict, the lockdown stuff. And I just... got into YouTube and started doing some like walking exercise there and in my room. But I was so consistent with the 3 months. So I was like, I'm just focused on my simple thing, 30 minutes workout. And 15 minutes I want to do a meditation. And I want to drink whatever the water recommended for my weight. And I started drinking that. So 3 things I just did it. And I think joined another seminar. They were also talking about celery juice and whatever if you drink celery juice. And the thing I was talking about is like just sticking out to some basic habits change. That's how I started. I say if I can do that, and then I was able to make it up all the way to 3-4 months. I woke up at 4 a.m. and I did those things, and I really felt good. And that's why, and then I started going out for 1 hour journey. And after that, and then I got it to my nutrition part. Okay, now what just don't eat sugar. And just basic thing, get out of all this milk, the dairy, sugar, and those, just eliminating those basic thing. And then I did follow some strict plan, which I kind of used it to understand all the nutrition part, like having a mentor, right? Or someone who people can guide you with and then I use that as like my guidance. And so now I know it's kind of still learning. We are not perfect, but I learned a lot in that process.
Well, and you made me think of something actually, in talking about how you set these habits and then you brought the nutrition
gradually,
part into it. That's something that I wanted to kind of highlight is, at least in the past, myself, and I guess kind of society is, people tend to be about instant gratification, right? And doing everything all at once. And I feel like gradual is better. Get yourself slowly into habits, because for me, I tend to burn out if I do everything at once. It's too much all at once, and then you miss a day and it's like, oh, I don't feel like going, that kind of thing. But if it's something you build gradually, becomes a habit over time, and then you add to it. So for me, I was kind of the opposite, where I did the program, the diet program, and the nutrition. And then a few months in, I started stepping up the fitness, and so kind of adding on
that was
and
also
layering, right? So. Yeah.
No, that is a great point. I did habit first, and then I added nutrition part. And when I was done with them, I diet plan stuff, and then I added Orange Theory. So then, working on my muscles, gaining,
Right.
and that's actually went very well. And until I got the knee injury, so I have to stop the Orange Theory, and that's why now, honestly, I did gain a little bit more pounds right now, but having those tools and being aware about, and I learned so much about myself, I have everything with me. I can now restart doing whenever I want. So I think those are the important thing. Just instead of following the blindly all the diets plan, and then without working on our habits, our patterns, our triggers, a lot of things goes hand to hand if we want to get the sustainable thing, like this stress and all that relationship. Recently, I just become a health coach as well. I just went to the IAN Institute of Integration Nutrition School, and I just did the certification to learn more about for myself. And that was another part to it. Now, I got into that and building community, as you mentioned. So those are the very important part of that journey. Like you have a community, you have a people who support you, is for accountability. And same way, I went on this coaching program, and I have a lot of like-minded people, community there, where we all talking about how to get better. And it's okay if we are not making the progress. Also, don't just beat yourself.
Exactly. And I wanted to mention that because you had mentioned, so not only that, but your knee injury, right?
Yes.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about setbacks. And like I mentioned at the start of the program, it's been like a roller coaster ride for me, up and down and up and down. And, I've had times where I felt like I had failed. But that's not really the case. You might have setbacks here and there, but you can always get...
I don't think there's such a failure word even there,
Agree. And having those tools, right? And understanding, okay, well, maybe this is a little bit of a setback, but what else can I do differently?
Yes.
What else would work?
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. Some people okay, if, I gain some weight, okay, now I think, and then going back to those habits and then start all over. I think that's where should not happen. But I think as long we kind of start asking the right question. Okay, as you just said it, like what else I can do?
Right.
Okay, if I cannot do the gym, can I just go for a walk?
Right.
And still not going back to the old habits. So I think that's the message. Even like I think we all talking the same thing. I think we want to give that message out to all other women. Like, okay, when we start this journey, just don't go jump into a diet plan. Just rather than just work on our habits. And also I just learned another concept about, I don't know if you have heard it, it was very new to me too, primary food and secondary. No. And I think, so the primary food is pretty, we all know what it is, but they're just using the primary food is like all our other areas of life, they call about the wheel of life, where we have our social life, relationship, our finances, the career, and everything. If that first area, the cycle is not good, then the secondary food comes. And if we can eat kale all day, salad all day, believe me, if we don't have a balanced career and we are not feeling happiness in our relationship, our finances are off, doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to work for you. So I think that the message I'm trying to say, primary food is also the key area. Before that, make sure it goes back to self-awareness. Just connect with ourselves, see who you are, just don't be so hard on you, and what other area we need to work on. I think a lot of things we have within ourselves, and we are not seeking a external validation and trying to be people pleaser. And instead of, if we bring all the focus internally and start doing a meditation, spend time with ourselves, and be gentle with ourselves, more love we give to ourselves, better we able to give our family a love, and our people around us. So always set boundaries for the boundaries. I was just had another conversation. It was sometimes just setting a boundaries helps us a lot. If we work on that primary food or primary area and then work on health, is really kind of will be more effective. So, and I missed that part too. A lot of time I was blaming a lot of external part. Okay, this thing is not working for me. This is not working for me, until I found that, oh no, it's a me project. It's a journey. I think I need to work on myself. And then I think more I understand, more I connected with myself, this health transformation journey was much easier. And I think a lot of us are kind of missing that point. So I would say, again, I think going back and connecting with ourselves, then this journey could be more, and we should enjoy it. Exactly.
We should enjoy it. And, going back to taking things too extreme, yes, or feeling like you failed, it's also, life should be enjoyed.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should not be too hard, right?
Exactly. And I kind of subscribe in a way to maybe the 80-20 rule.
Yes.
Be healthful and have intentions in your eating, but if it's your birthday, have that birthday cake, that kind of thing, right?
Oh, because for sure.
You can't just be so strict all the time. It's going to become...
We need to celebrate ourselves.
Yes.
And even small milestones. So I think you brought a good point that when I was in this journey, every time I lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, my thing was the new way how I associate with it. Okay, I will buy a dress for me. And that was so rewarding.
Yeah.
So I will go and buy the dress. And then after I done on my anniversary, I went to my favorite restaurant. And I did eat it there. But I was more mindful. That didn't happen because I could have eaten it, but my habits, which I created for that longer period,
yes,
I didn't even have a craving for the same thing. Like last night, it is funny. I went to a Thai restaurant and we order it comes with rice, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I work it's been a 1.5 year. I'm eating rice here and there, but not the way I used to. I used to eat a lot of rice. I didn't know how to measure it.
Oh.
It's not like I have no concept of measuring the rice cup.
Yes. Actually, that's a funny point as well. One thing that I found that helped me a lot was tracking my food, because you don't realize just how much you're consuming until you start looking at that.
That's a very critical part of it.
It really is, because it's so easy. I mean, and in weight loss, right? The diet and nutrition is the majority of it. You know, you can eat 200 calories so fast, and it'll take a long time to burn that
out, yeah.
So, and being mindful and getting, the right fuel for yourself.
I think 80% of our diet and 20% workout. I mean, workout is always good, but if you be really trying to lose some stubborn pound or something, I think first I would again go back to that structure. First, just connect with yourself, be gentle with yourself, really understand your why, what you really want to achieve out of it and how you want to feel differently, how you want to be a different person, and then could lead to then find a mentor or some system which can help you with the structure that's really helped you. That was, I think, I learned it even I was trying myself for many years. I could not do it. I have to reach out to get some help.
Yeah.
So find a health coach or mentor, whatever is available for you to guide you, and then work on yourself, and then learn, change your habits pattern. And more we know about ourselves, more we can do in a more sustainable way. So I think, it sounds simple, but it's a learning process, and I'm still learning. And every day we are learning about ourselves and how to think differently. And when I was saying, we went to the restaurant, and the rice and thing came, and I realized I just got 2 spoons of rice, and I was satisfied with the other dish.
Yeah.
And before, I used to order extra rice. That's a change.
Yeah.
And it's not it's a habit. So again, I'm going fundamentals are our habit pattern, and lot of beliefs, the stories we tell to ourselves. So the way we relate, okay, if we're feeling emotional, okay, go eat this sweet thing or something. And I'm still learning about it. I'm still having some challenges in that sometime when I get so busy and I'm focused in one area too much. It's a little bit so easy for me to go and get something. I love sweet desserts. And that's but it's okay. I'm not saying, as long I'm aware about it.
Yes.
And I have a toolkit. I can always go back. So, no, I thank you so much, Christie, for your inspiring story. That's a big milestone. You 100 pounds in 10 months.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. I have seen you personally, you were working in a groups, doing a lot of workout, and that part is more really inspiring to me. Even I didn't know you personally, but I heard a lot of inspiring story from other people. So I think that comes to another level, how we do it, and then how even unknowingly we can inspire other people.
Yes.
And that's my thing is okay, I'm going through this self-awareness and this different aspect, and I feel we need to share this. We need to share with other people. So and build a community and people, and we need to surround ourselves with the people who celebrate us, and accountability. And we need to narrow down to our circle to we can flourish.
Yes.
So that's another thing. Now, thank you so much for your time here, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. This was fun.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for listening to today's show on physical wellness discovery. And if you would like to learn more about me and more about my services, you can click down below the link. And please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, because otherwise you can miss all the upcoming episode. And I would say, yes, we are not lost. We just need to take a pause and need to reconnect with our true inner self to start living a meaningful life and share, care, and be rare. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Please be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast player. If you ever have questions, visit unstoppablewithease.com or contact us at unstoppablewithease@gmail.com. Yes, we are not lost. We just need to take a pause and reconnect with ourselves to craft the life we want. Share, care, and be rare.